And then when
experienced some racial prejudice there while I worked with you. I had a foreman that was 42 of them, as a matter of fact. One was a shift supervisor. He thought I was asleep. And then I worked for Jesse Bush on midnights. And Jesse just didn't really like people. I told him, he called me in his office. That was the biggest mistake he ever made because we were one-on-one. I told Jesse Bush, I said, "You're old man, I'm a young brother." I said, "I will beat the crap out of you if you disrespect me again." I said, "My name is John. If you can't call me by my name, don't call me anything. Because what I think about this job, I was looking for one when I got this one. I can get another." Wasn't too long after that, they moved to Tennessee. They struck a big vein in the side of a mountain. They said, "There's a whole plant down there." Well, come on, John, you can go on down to Tennessee with us. We can pay you to move down there. I said, "We're going to have a union." "No union." "No, thank you." I am not going to Tennessee.
Is there a union here?
Yeah.
With it? Okay. But not down there. I wonder why not.
I know you're not taping all this now, are you?
Yeah. Do you want me to not tape?
Oh, you can. I don't
okay.
care. I mean, now I know you are because I see a little needle jumping up and down.
Yeah. Yeah, I was having problems with it at first, but I got it going. If you ever want us to stop the tape, just let us know.
Oh, the tape's turned on.
Yeah. Just let us know, though.
Yeah, what would you guys like to know?
We've got questions.
One that I was talking to really good on, something that I thought about after meeting you guys at the church was, when I was a kid, I distinctly remember when I had like card, I don't know if you want to call them card clubs or what, but I remember my aunt and uncle, because I spent a lot of time with them as a youngster. I remember they would have people over their house and they would play cards. It wasn't poker. They'd play like Bid Whiz or Coon Can or Pitty Pat or Tonk. The Pitty Pat and the Tonk games were, Pitty Pat was called Penny Pat, and you gambled for pennies. I remember going to tip station with my aunt and uncle. We'd go and people would get together in their homes and they'd have drinks and refreshments, and then they'd pull tips, which is silly gambling, but and that still goes on today. Not quite not on the level that it did back then, but blacks socialized in one another's homes. That's what they did for leisure. I remember church gatherings at the churches on Sunday during the spring and summer months after church. It was not uncommon to after church to go outside and have dinner on the lawn. They would set up like sawhorses and with plywood tops and put tablecloths on there, and then the women would fry food and carry it into the church. Or Friday they'd have fried chicken, ham, green beans, corn. That was their social gatherings, for the most part.
What was it like for the kids?
We kind of hung out and played with each other. I was one of those. As I look back over my alcoholic past, I was probably leading me up to be an alcoholic again, because I was a notorious little bird. I was spoiled me rotten. I was almost never told no. Like every year at Easter time, I got a new Sunday outfit. I always got money and clothes on my birthday. I always got a lot of Christmas gifts. But I can distinctly remember there were times when they would have people over, and I was a little kid when they'd be out in the backyard, and my uncle would barbecue, and then everybody would go in the house and start getting ready to eat, and I would go through and I'd pick up the little glasses that had the mixed drinks in them, and pretty soon you had a little intoxicated kid running around. They thought that was funny. Well, lo and behold, little did they know that at some point in time I would discover that I had this allergy to alcohol. I became an alcoholic. Don't fault anybody. That's I'm not going to say that I was destined to be an alcoholic, but that was part of the beginning of it. One of the things that I do know is I learned how to drink by watching my peers, not my peers, but my elders drink. And for whatever reason, most blacks, when they socialize, not all blacks, but especially the men, though, the men tend to drink a lot. But they drink a lot over a long period of time. I never associated the time span with drinking a lot. So I just drank a lot in a short period of time. When I quit drinking, I was having a case of beer a day and a pint of 100 proof vodka every day. When I quit drugging, the only drug I did was cocaine. Crack, to be particular. Crack cocaine is a drug that was my downfall. It was the one drug that I tried. I could not stop using. I smoked marijuana for 27 years. When I didn't want to smoke marijuana, I just didn't smoke it. Took amphetamines. When I didn't want to do amphetamines, I just didn't do them. Crack cocaine, what can I say? Euphoria. It is highly addictive. And if you ever meet anybody and say, well, I'm a social crack cocaine user, they're a liar. It's not a social drug. Never has been, never will be. It's very, the damage it does is very devastating. It can kill you immediately, as in the case of Lynd Bias. I don't know if you guys remember Lynd Bias. He was a college graduate that got drafted by the Boston Celtics. The night before he was supposed to go to a training camp, he went to a campus party, smoked cocaine, and died, and blew his heart up immediately. So that or there's situations where I know people who use crack cocaine and still use it, and been using it for 10, 15 years. But there are physical signs. It will change the color of your eyes. It will eat up the bone marrow, or it will eat the calcium out of your bones. It will make your teeth fall out. You lose weight drastically. You become a walking skeleton, because it will take the weight off you quick. I was blessed after messing around with it for a year. Had a traumatic experience, went in the hospital, around rehab, been clean ever since.
How is your life different now?
How's my life different now?
Yeah.
I guess to simplify, like I said, I'm a useful, productive citizen in society, and then I spend a great deal of my time trying to get back to the community in which I live, which is really important, especially the young people. The young people need to know that you don't have to do drugs to fit in. They also need to know that the reason you say no is because, and it's simple, drugs kill. That's why you say no. A lot of people. Why do you say no? Because drugs kill. They destroy you. Not only do they destroy you physically, but they also destroy your loved ones around you. You can't imagine the anguish that families go through by having an addict in the family. There is no good that will ever come out of cocaine, ever, other than Novocaine for numbing your gums when you go to a doctor, or using it for medicinal purposes. But other than that, the illegal drug itself is it's a monster. It just is. And unfortunately, you live in a society that refuses, although they talk about the war on crime or the war on drugs, that's a joke. It truly is. The drug cartels, if the United States spent $500 million on the war on drugs, the drug cartel can spend $5 billion to keep drugs running. And it's one of those situations where the sale of cocaine in particular is such a multi-billion-dollar organization. That's a multi-billion-dollar drug sale. And as long as that drug is able to produce that kind of money, you will always have, quote-unquote, politicians, law enforcement officials, immigration officials, agricultural officials who will turn their head and take the money and look the other way just because they're dishonest. Money has a tendency to bring out the worst in us sometimes. And that's sad. Today, would I set a price on my sobriety? No. There is no price I can set on it. I don't ever have the desire to feel the way I felt May 24th, 1992. That was helpless and hopeless. Helpless is losing self, and hopeless is losing God.
When did you have your daughter?
When did I have my daughter?
Was that after that process? Or?
I didn't have my daughter. My wife did. My daughter was born in 1974. 75. And I didn't use cocaine until I was 42 years old. It had never really particularly been my drug of choice. I had friends in bands and other organizations I had been in that snorted, and I snorted a couple times, didn't like because it burnt my nose. I have a younger brother that lives in Indy. Basically, the only time I used cocaine in powder form was with him, which wasn't very often. The reason I got started on crack cocaine was I had just gone through a divorce and was back out there in the mainstream of life, thinking, my biggest fear was being alone when I got my divorce. So naturally, I went out and ran into a couple old girls that I had used drugs with. And one thing led to another. The girl tried. She said, "Here, try this. We're going to try a Primo," that's cocaine crumbled up and put in a reefer. And I smoked the Primo and liked that. And I said, "Well, let's smoke the rock. See what that does." Smoked the rock, and then we had sex. And then this drug is euphoric for men. It makes you think you're all this in a bag of chips too. But in the end, you become impotent. It takes all that away from you. But I discovered that when I had that drug in my possession, that I could go down around the drug corners and pick up the young female drug addicts who were just new and they're getting out there and trying cocaine. As long as I had it in my possession, I could make them do anything I wanted to. Power. That's what the drug was. It gives you a sense of false security.
Were you in? Oh, go ahead.
And the next thing you know, you're like you see in my situation, you wind up with a $500 a day habit.
Were you in Muncie then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So did your like the woman you're married to now, was that who you divorced initially?
No.
Oh,
The woman I'm married to now is my second wife.
so she's the one that helped you through.
No. My first wife, she and I had we've been divorced about a year, and she came to see me when I was in rehab, and she would not come to what we call family week.
Mm-hmm.
She said when she divorced me, she got rid of all her problems, and I just told her straight to her face, no, only one. But you still have other problems. She and I are still good friends today, and that is something that it kind of bothers my wife that I'm married to now, but as I told her, I didn't say anything when the father of your children was living, and I don't see any reason for you to be upset about me speaking to the mother of my child. I said, she and I are friends. I said, no matter what you do, she and I will always be friends. I said, we didn't part on the best of terms. I said, but after we got divorced, I said, then, our friendship picked up where it left off when we got married. I said, because we started out as friends and got married. And of course, I was one of those husbands that I thought it was okay to cheat because my brothers did that, so I saw them do it. So, in my mind's eye, that was okay. I was one of those husbands that it was okay to beat your wife. Little did I know then than what I know now. It's not okay. No man should ever have to lift his hand to beat a woman unless she is physically whipping him and then do so to get her off him and run. But for the most part, women are not physically designed to be strong enough to whip a man. Most of them aren't. There are some who can, and I've seen them do it. But for the most part, they're just not designed to physically compete with a man. Not a violent nature anyway.
You mentioned being in a band. What was that like? Like, what are bands like?
Drugs, for the most part.
Was this like a secular band or?
When you say secular, was it a mixed band?
Yeah, like a lounge band.
We played clubs. We played out on campus. Where we could play. We played in people's garages. We rehearsed in people's garages. My little brother's still in the band. But that's the entertainment industry is notorious for its drug abuse. Thank God there are some entertainers who by the grace of God don't ever get involved in drugs, but for the most part, especially the young and upcoming entertainers, whether it be in the music industry or the TV, radio, or film, you're always going to have that element that the dope is in it. What you choose to do in your circumstance, is up to the individual. A lot of individuals today choose not to be around that scene, and they're still very successful. Unfortunately, it's just there. It goes with the territory. Look at Nick Nolte, good example. Another writer. He's addicted to prescription drugs. Edgar Allan Poe was a heroin addict. Some of the best stuff he wrote was under the influence of a drug. You ever read the story Alice in Wonderland? That's a drug-induced story. That story was written under the influence of psychedelics.
How old were you when you were in the bands?
The first band I was in, I was 15. I was out in California. Really, I say it was a band. It was just me and some guys got together. We practiced or whatever you want to call it in this guy's garage, and then we go to different pool parties around LA and play for people. And then I was in a band when I was in my early 20s. Then I got married at 24, went to work. So the bands became, messing around with bands became less and less. I would go to clubs where bands were playing with people that I knew, and I'd sit in with them and sing. But as far as just being a regular band, that became non-existent.
How long were you out in California?
2 years.
Okay.
Hated it. I hated it. I got my first taste of smog. I did not like that. Going somewhere. We were on the interstate, going somewhere, and all of a sudden, man, my eyes just started watering and burning real bad. I'm like, what is wrong with me? And my brother says, "Welcome to smog." What smog? I don't like this. So that's when you need to get a car with air conditioning and a hood and a roof on it. You had a 55 Thunderbird convertible. LA River it never had water except when it rained. LA was a learning experience for me because I went out there when I was 15, and the 2 years I was out there, I grew up very, very quick. I went out there with a 15-year-old mind. I came back with a 25-year-old mind. That's where I got introduced to the streets. I was not the same person that left here. I came back very, very well educated. I was very streetwise.
What do you mean by that? What was it like?
Okay, my brother. First of all, my brother introduced me to marijuana. He didn't force me to smoke it, but I eventually tried it. He took me to clubs like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I met hustlers, guys that I met a couple of guys who were pimps. And I met some lady hookers. And I met some guys that would boost credit cards and use them to buy stuff and take trips and make money. This is very streetwise. That's the people that he hung around with, and I was living with him. And the kids there, the kids in Los Angeles, like, for me to be 15 was like being 12 out there. Because I was so naive, but I grew up fast. Because the kids out there, I mean, they were honest, but they were very cruel in their honesty. Like when I went out there, the dress style out there was sandals, blue jeans, and a t-shirt. My dress code here was dress shoes, slacks, and a shirt, And I had on suspenders one day, and a kid made a comment, "Hey, man, my grandfather wears that." He used to say, "I went and found me some bell-bottom jeans and some nice t-shirts and sandals."
So what was it like when you came back to Muncie?
People here weren't ready for me. I knew way too much for my age. I went to the Boys Club because I worked there before I went out to California. I went to try to get my job back, and I went in, sit down, and talked with the executive director, Jack Mall, and he called my mom and said, "Have you listened to your son talk lately?" No, why? He said, "Your son's extremely streetwise." And I said, "I don't know what he learned in California," he said, "but I'll tell you what, he's got the mind of a 25-year-old. So then he hired me back, but he told me, he said, "Whatever you learned in California, do not tell these kids here." Okay. Questions? More. Now, what did I do for a living? Most of my leisure time as a young man, even when I was married, I like to have parties. Invite my friends over, buy a lot of booze, maybe some food, not a lot, but we get high. I went to a lot of smokeouts on campus in particular, and went to a lot of parties. Most states and tourists were partying too. Went to a lot of campus parties, kegers. That's a big thing out there. I went to some parties out there where guys, I went to one party out there where these guys bought a case of Jack Daniels and put it in the deep freeze for 24 hours. Because it doesn't freeze, but it does get ice cold. And when it's ice cold, you can chug it. By then I had established my drinking pattern. I would drink cold beer and chase it with vodka. So the Jack Daniels thing, didn't faze me. I said, no, I got my beer, I'm gonna lock in, got my reefer. We'll go that route. These guys were just getting a little hit. They would take a fifth or a quart and chug about half of it. About a half hour, 45 minutes later, they'd be wasted. I was a little bit more mellow. It took me a while. I got wasted too, but it just took me a while. And I said, man, I looked at them, I thought to myself, you dummies.
Was that when you were going to Ball State? Or?
Okay. I was around then. My nephew worked out there at the student center. They used to have a pizza place out there in the student center. He worked there as assistant manager, and he went to a lot of parties on campus, and I'd go with him. Had some good times at the university. What can I say? Well, I'm waiting for these questions. Right. You said you had questions.
Well, we came up with some questions, but we wanted to kind of see what we could talk about first before going to the questions that we already had written out. So.
I'm very avid in theater. I've been since I was 22 years old. First play I ever did was at College Avenue Methodist Church. It was called Something Personal. It was written and directed by a guy by the name of Bernard Tansey, who was in New York City today. That's when I got my first taste of acting, and I liked it. My brother just moved back from California, and he's an actor. Did you audition for this play? So I did. Got a small part. Liked it. Didn't do anything for a couple of years, and I auditioned for Porgy and Bess in 1980 at the university, and I did that. And then I really got bit by the bug then because I had the second male lead. I don't read music, but I beat a music major out of that slot for that. I got part of Crown, which is the second male lead. And, had a real good time. Had some wonderful people. Rehearsals were long. I rehearsed 6 days. Started out 3 days a week, moved up to 6 days a week, then up to 7 days a week, 6 hours a night. And we rehearsed for 6.5 months. Left there, went to Civic Theater, and I've been to Civic Theater ever since. I've done I have been involved with and worked so many shows in the Civic Theater, I couldn't tell you all of them.
What was your last one?
The last show that I actually had anything to do with, I'm thinking, because I haven't done anything this year. I want to say 12, but no, it wasn't 12 in the end, because I was assistant director for Fences. I haven't done anything since Fences. That was last year. I was assistant director, but I had a small cameo on that. I'm one of those actors that you can give me a non-spoken part when you have to convey an idea. I'm very good at that. My first love is tech work. I like doing tech. I like running spotlight. I like doing soundboard, light board, working backstage. I can I can run your. Are you guys familiar with what a fly system is?
Yeah.
Okay, your fly system is what brings your backdrops in and out.
Oh, okay.
And setting counterweights to run your fly system. And fiddler, you guys probably you guys couldn't have been in Ball State University and then fiddler on the roof out there. But I was a guy that flew.
What did you fly the?
The Ghost.
Yeah. The grandmother.
Yeah. Flew Sarah.
Yeah.
I flew her out. After I redesigned the pulley system, they wanted to use one pulley to fly her down. I said, okay, she weighs 110 pounds. You got one pulley. From a deadlift, that's 300 pounds. Mm-hmm. I said, if you put 3 pulleys on here, put guards on them so they don't flip over. I said, then you've taken 110 pounds and you've decreased it down to 40 pounds of dead weight. So that Noble redesigned the pulley system according to my modifications, and I flew her in and out.
You could have taken that 300 pounds. God.
It's a lot from a dead weight. I guess the scary part of that show was she started out on the stage and they put her on a platform 15 feet up in the air. And one night I made this comment and she turned white as a sheet and I said, every time you step off that platform, your life is in my hands. She looked at me and I said, trust me, I would never let anything happen to you. I know one time during rehearsal I couldn't be there to fly her, and I had a couple of Ball State football players so they would do it. She told them, no, it's not that I don't doubt your strength, but I don't know you. Mm-hmm. She said, I know this guy and I know what he can do. She said, so I'm just not going to fly tonight. I was there from then on out, though.
When you're not doing theater stuff, what do you usually do in your spare time?
I'm a video freak. I like to watch movies. I like to go to the show. I occasionally will. what do I do occasionally? Sleep. No, I occasionally will go. I've been to several conventions since I've been included. So I went to a World Convention in '97 in Denver, Colorado, and I was graced to be the president of 10,000 recovery addicts. I've been to a couple of tri-state conventions for Cocaine Anonymous down in Indianapolis. Go to church a lot, sing in the choir. Sit on the board. I'm on the board of directors at the Serenity Club. It's a facility that provides a space for 12-step meetings to have their meetings. I'm the vice president of that board of directors. I'm on the board of directors for Muncie Civic Theater. This is my final year. I'll be coming off the board. Of course, I'm the director of the Social Status of Black Males. Work for the city of Muncie.
What do you do for the city of Muncie?
I'm a wastewater treatment plant operator. I'm on the board of directors for Black Expo too.
What is the the Committee for Black Males?
Commission of Social Status of Black Males?
Yeah, what do you guys do there?
Okay, there's a state commission, the state commission was brought in to existence. It was brought in. They passed legislature at the state level creating this commission to study the social and economic problems of the young black males in the black community. One of the things that was being noticed was the fact that so many young black males were being incarcerated. And, you look at your prison population, and 40% of it's black. Now that 40%, 65% are in there for and/or alcohol and drug abuse. Why are these kids being incarcerated? Well, a lot of it had to do with the fact no jobs. Lack of education, single parent families, and now the single parent families, if it's a female, a lot of females, and for whatever reason, within the last 5 to 10 years, a lot of the females are committing crimes, and they're being incarcerated. Then you have a situation where you have a child that has no parents, so they either go into foster homes or they go into the custody of grandparent, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, older brother or sister. Why is this happening? One of the things that I have figured out, and just recently, is the socioeconomic structure of society, not in just the United States but worldwide, is designed so that blacks stay at the bottom of the pole. And these are facts. Historically, go back to your history and look at your social structures. Historically, that's been the design of society. It all goes back to the Caucasus Mountains, which border Europe and Russia. And the Europeans were up in the Caucasus Mountains, and they found a supersized skull and claimed it as their own and said, because of this skull, we have superior minds, which put them at the top of the social ladder, Hispanics and Asians in the middle, and blacks at the bottom. Historically, blacks have been considered inferior mentally. Well, that myth has been disproven. We have by and far proven that in some situations we are superior. If you stop and look at some of your major inventions, the mailbox is a perfect example, invented by a black man. Your curling iron, invented by a black woman. The central air conditioning in your car, invented by a black man or a man of color. There are so many inventions that were invented by people of color that they never got credit for. And as sad as it is, historically, the Euro-Americans or European race has always been in control because those below them allowed this to happen. Look at how long it took Africa to become, and even today, Africa is not a united country. One of the biggest problems you have in Africans is there is a language barrier amongst the people. So it's easy to keep them separated. One of the biggest problems that the blacks today face is they still think with that slave mentality. How do you stop that? Racism is not a color thing. It is an archaeology. It started out with archaeology and anthropology. And you stop that by not allowing history to repeat itself. The reason the social structure is still the same today as it was, 800-900 years ago, is because history has kept repeating itself and repeating itself. If you stop and look at Look at all your different economic your job structures. Even the most segregated day of the week is Sunday, when people go to church. If you want to eradicate racism, then make the churches stand for what they preach. And there is nothing in the Bible that is racist. There is nothing in the Bible that talks about separation of races. Now you can talk about the wall of Babylon.
Of slavery. I don't know
Blacks have a
exactly.
slave- we have a slave
What do you
mentality.
mean more like? What do you mean by that?
Always settling for second best, and always being satisfied with, if you don't succeed or make it to the top, being willing to accept somebody else doing for you, rather than being encouraged to push yourself to the max, to achieve the highest possible degree of perfection that you can.
Why do you think it's like that?
Because that's the way we have been brought up from our ancestors when they first brought our ancestors over to even currently. We still think of slave mentality. Black people hold themselves back to a large degree. We come together in a time of crisis, and then before the crisis is even over with, the pressure lets up. We go our separate ways rather than remain together, find a solution to the problem, solve the problem, and move on to the next one. Being satisfied with less when you have the ability to obtain more, and allowing society to dictate your position in it. The blacks per se had more civil rights after the Civil War than we do today. And then again, you had a very liberal Congress that came into being, and then they passed the Jim Crow laws, and that took all that so-called freedom away from us. We actually had more black legislators back right after the Civil War than we do today. And I didn't write this. This is in history books, and this is one thing that tickles me. And I'm not saying it because I'm preaching. I'm saying it because it's true. All the stuff that the European Americans have done to the blacks and even the Indians, that they don't print in the history books. At some point in time, you will put in print. You did this to yourself. You put this in print, and you tell on yourself. And then some blacks are smart enough to go read these books and realize what is being done, whereas the rest of us, it's not a major concern because we're complacent. And that's sad. It really is. Would I like to be in a higher position in my life? No. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be and doing what I'm supposed to be doing at the precise time that I am doing it, because I believe that God guides my fate. He guides my path. I may never be a millionaire, but I've discovered that happiness is not about money. It's not about position in life. For me, it's about knowing that I did my best to make the community in which I live a decent place to live. And I try to be the best human being that I possibly can. And you have to distinguish between God's law and man's law, because man's law can be changed. God's law is absolute. It does not ever change. It has been for the last almost 4,000, over 2,000 years. His word has been the same. It's non-negotiable. That's like telling a homosexual, you can get into heaven. That's a lie if you believe in God. It is a lie outright. And I have a friend who was gay, who said, well, you don't know what kind of relationship I have with my higher power. I said, no, I don't. But what I do know is that God is very explicit about how he feels about homosexuality, and that will not change so that you can get in the gates of heaven. It just won't. So whatever your relationship is not good enough. He says, you're being judgmental. I said, no, I love you just the way you are. But you see, I'm not the one you're going to have to answer to when you depart from here. Then you deal with, I work with some guys that they're atheists, so they say, and that's okay too. I can accept them just the way they are, because the difference between me and them is they need me to prove there isn't a God, but I don't need them to prove there is. But the God of my understanding is personal. It's one-on-one. It's a relationship that I've developed between him and I. It has nothing to do with you or you. And all that matters is that I believe. If you don't believe, that's entirely up to you. And I can accept you for that because you have that right. You have that right morally, and you have that right spiritually. You not believing doesn't hurt me. You disbelieving or you believing doesn't hurt me either. It helps me a great deal if you do believe. Now, how can I prove God exists? I don't have to. It's not up to me to have to prove He exists. It's up to you to prove He doesn't exist if you're a non-believer. You know, He's real for me, and that's all that matters. And if you believe in Scripture, the Scripture tells you He deals with this. He deals with us individually, not as a collective. And that's how you get around having that. That's how I can get around saying, "Well, I don't need you to prove He is. All I need to do is believe." And I do know that I've had experiences in my life that I don't have any logical answers for. They just are. And whether they're real to anybody else or not, they were real to me. You know, they were real because they happened. They were physical experiences, and I've had spiritual experiences too. Have you ever been in a position where you're just totally calm, nothing bothers you at all, absolutely nothing?
Once in a while.
That's called serenity.
Not really common.
And that's when, if you are a person of spirituality, because I'm not a religious person, but if you are a spiritual person, then that is the supreme being letting you know that despite everything that's going on around you, you are okay. And that as long as you are in His presence, nothing, absolutely nothing that is not of Him, by Him, or about Him can touch you. And now, the hardest thing for human beings to deal with, we let mentality get in the way. Intelligence is nice, but when your intelligence elevates you to a level that you don't need to have anything more powerful, more important than you, then you have a problem. If you look throughout history, all the most powerful dictators and rulers at some point in time were toppled. Their power was taken away from them. Just check your history books. Hitler. Who was it? The Roman Empire. One of the most powerful empires on the face of it. They fell. You know, Hitler came very close to ruling the world, but he fell. Napoleon, he fell. He backs up. So, are we learning anything? Or do you just think I'm crazy?
Do you spend a lot of time reading? It sounds like it.
Not as much as I used to. I used to see one of the things that they told me when I was in rehab is that I'm a thinker. As a matter of fact, they labeled me the last of the great thinkers. They said the biggest problem you have is, I said, John, you get from point A to point B, but you just don't worry about what comes in the middle. I said, doesn't matter. I'm here. And in reality, yes, it does matter what came in the middle, you know. But yeah, I do. I like to think. Sometimes it gets my butt in trouble. And I have those times when I sit around and I look at all the physical stuff, material stuff around me, and I go, is this it? Is this all? Is there no more? And then I have to realize the more comes after I shed the flesh. That's when the more comes. So yeah, there is more than what I see with the natural eye. You know, God is not something you see. It is He or it is an entity that is felt more than seen. There are a lot of things that you will feel with your spirit, with your heart, with your senses, that you may never see. You know, it's knowing that you know that you know that you know you know, and not ever having to doubt that.
How do you think things have changed from when you were like younger or teenage years to now, like, and how you use your time and that type of thing?
I think when I was younger, I thought I was going to have all the time in the world. But as I get older, time has become a precious commodity. You know, I try to use it to the best of my ability. Although there's times I do have my lazy streaks. Trust me. Well, I just want to stay at home, don't want to do anything. But even when I'm staying home and I don't do anything, I pray. You know, or I'm thinking about other people. You know, well, maybe I should call such a person. I haven't seen him talk to them for a while. Even though I'm not real big on being on the phone for long periods of time, I'm good at making a lot of little calls. But for me to get on the phone, if I get on the phone, I talk to you for an hour. I have not talked to you in years because I'm not one of those people that gets on the phone and talks for an hour. You know, I can get on and I can talk 15 minutes. If I talk 15 minutes, that's long for me. I have a little more freedom today than I did when I was a child. I don't experience as much racial prejudice today as I did when I was a child. Even though Muncie is a very prejudiced city. You don't see it out in the open, but it seeds just below the surface. You know, sometimes it's not so much what is said as the reactions you get from certain people in response to you. It's like, you know, yet today I can walk in Ellis Ayres or Elgin Bierman, and at any given point in time, there will be a clerk or somebody in that store who will follow me. And in the back of my mind, yes, I used to be a thief too. In the back of my mind, I thought, 20 years ago, if I walked in the store, you could follow me all over the store, and you would never see me steal anything, but I would walk out of that store with something.
Is elder beerman bad? Jared always talks about elder beerman. I've actually never even been to an elder beerman, I think.
You know, it's sad that we have to be stereotyped. It really is. You know, but unfortunately, that's where some human beings are programmed. You know, I've found that the best way to find out if you like a person or not is to get to know them. Don't be judgmental. I think it's too often, and this is in the blacks are as guilty as the whites are. We are prejudgmental without even knowing the person. You know, and because I've known people who were supposedly quote unquote prejudiced, but after they got to know me, their attitude towards me changed. I can't say that they changed towards any of the blacks, but they changed their attitude changed towards me because they got to know me as a person. You know, and I think that the more that people sit down, if people would sit down at a table and talk about what they have in common, I think they would discover they have more in common than not.
How do you get around that initial prejudice? What have you done in your life?
You got to go back out the double doors and turn to the left, and yours is back to the right.
Okay.
How have I gotten around that initial prejudice? Sometimes I haven't. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I've gotten around the initial prejudice by allowing a person the opportunity to get to know me. Or in some situations, I just truly don't care. You know?
Gotcha.
What I do is I elevate myself to the level of intelligence in which I'm capable of elevating myself to, and not allow their ignorance to make me look stupid. Mm-hmm. Or allow, as I like to say, why would I allow your ignorance to insult me? I'm not going to allow your stupidity to insult my intelligence. And that pisses them off right off the bat. And then if you really want to make them mad, and what do you mad? See, do you realize that when you get mad, you're allowing some person, place, or thing to control you? So stay pissed off because I like controlling your sorry butt. Now I'm in control because I done made you mad. I control the way you think and the way you act. No, you don't. I said, well, why are you so angry? You pissed me off. I said, well, you let me. What used to be my favorite reading was psychology, adverse psychology in particular. In rehab, they discovered that I was very good at quote unquote mind fucking. I like to play little head games with people, and I was very subtle about it. I discovered that you have keywords that you can say to someone, and the intent or the insult does erase your then, because they don't think about it, but when they get off by themselves, they think about what you said. Well, that asshole just got insulting me. And I was very good at that. And I discovered that if you want your way with people, tell them they can't do something. Because hey, they break their necks they'll break their necks trying to prove they can. Now I don't do it today simply because I don't want it done to me. And when I run across people who are dumb enough to want to play head games with me, I just look at them and say, it is a path that I would rather you not travel, but if you choose to do so, just be aware that it is my nightmare, and once you invite yourself in, I will not let you out until I'm ready to. And usually people back off and play head games with me. And I was telling them, hey, it's my nightmare. If If you invite yourself in, you won't get out till I release you. Make sense?
It makes sense to me. It makes sense not to invite myself in, at least.
Head games they serve no useful purpose other than hurt somebody's feelings, and that's all they're good for. And I watch myself because I can be drawn into a head game so quick, just by someone hurts my feelings. Okay, my immediate reaction is get even. Well, the bottom line is, I would be better served just not play the. Okay, what was the name of the movie? War Games. The supercomputer. With
that was
oh god,
long time
Matthew
ago.
Broderick.
Yeah, with the tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, and the computer said the only way to win was not play. So
That's a good quote.
I choose not to play, therefore I am the winner. And if more people choose not to play, then we have two winners instead of one.
Yeah, that's true.
I like poetry. On occasion, I have written some poetry, not very much. I'm real good at I can pull lyrics off the top of my head, especially when I'm in church rehearsal and they're just the musicians are just playing music. I'll get their little beat run around in my head, and I start making up words to the music that I hear. I'm pretty good at it. The biggest problem I have is if I don't write it down while it's up there fresh in my head, it goes away. But question number 2. What was the first question?
Well, what things do you consider like outside of church or community activities, or just things that are kind of duties? Like, do you consider some of those to be something to do in spare time, or do you? Like, what do you really consider?
What do you mean when you say duties?
Like the Black Men's Council. Would you consider that?
Such as the Black Males?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
You guys gotta get yourself an acronym.
Just say the social status of black males, and I'll know what you mean.
But say the whole thing
status
again.
of black
The commission.
males.
Commission on the social status of black males.
So like that. Like, if you don't get paid for that, do you consider that a duty still, or?
I don't get paid in the form of a check. What they do is they pay my expenses when I go to seminars. Mm-hmm. They pay for my hotel, they pay my registration fee, pay my gas, and occasionally will give me an allowance to eat on. But other than that, it's a volunteer position. At some point in time, I would like to see it funded. You know, I don't know if that'll happen while I'm director. I've been director now. As a matter of fact, what's tomorrow, the 17th? Mm-hmm. It'll be 3 years tomorrow. I think that as long as there are negative situations and lifestyles in the black community, the commission will exist. The only way the commission will die is when the commissioners give up, or the director, whoever that may be down the road, no longer wants to try to find solutions. The solutions will be found by the community coming together as a whole and addressing the issues. And then saying, okay, this is what we need to do to eradicate this particular problem. And the thing is, even though it's a black problem, it affects society as a whole. You know, a lot of ex-cons, whether black or white, find it very hard to readjust and get back in the mainstream society simply because society, unfortunately, is not very forgiving. You know, excuse me. I would like to see the penal system or the justice system mandate laws where, when a person is incarcerated in prison, that it is the obligation of the state to rehabilitate them. Unfortunately, now the way the justice system is set up now, the only thing the state of Indiana can make you do is serve your time. They are not obligated, nor can they force you to become rehabilitated, whether it be by getting a GED or learning some type of skilled trade while you're in prison. The only thing he can make you do is serve time. By legally, if you don't want to come out of your jail cell, they cannot make you do this. course you will, because if you don't, you won't be able to shower, you won't be able to eat, you won't be able to exercise. But other than that, the only thing you have to do is serve your time. And I think it should be mandatory that if you're going to incarcerate people, that they should have some type of rehabilitation in place. That way, when they come out, then they're prepared to enter back into society. When you come out and you're a convicted felon, and if you don't have any job skills, and you come out here, okay, you're going to do one or two things. You're going to apply for a job, and you're going to tell the truth and get slapped in the face because you told the truth. Yes, I'm a convicted felon. Well, I'm sorry, we don't hire convicted felons. Or you're going to apply for a job and not put the felony down, get the job, they run a records check, find out you lied, and then you're still fired. You're back in the same scenario again, no job. Or you're going back to doing exactly what you did before because you don't have any job skills anyway. And the only thing you know how to do is what you did that got you put in prison. And you may know how to do it better since you were probably listening to some other people who are a little bit smarter than you. So, this, there's the penal systems they're overcrowded, and you got to realize that prisons are big business. There's a lot of money being made by prisoners being incarcerated. On the average, it costs $22,000 a year to house a prisoner in the state of Indiana. Now, just imagine how much better spent that $22,000 would be spent if this person would be given some job training skills or some educational skills. Although you have a higher rate of college graduates coming out of prison than you do out of universities, especially long-termers that are going to be in there 8, 9, 10 years. The ones that that have any intelligence say, well, hey, I might as well go to school. I'm in prison because the state's going to pay for them. Even though when they come out, they may have a degree, they still find it hard to find work. But they have a better chance of finding some type of work just because they have a college education. So what does that say about society? Society needs to look at its justice system and start making changes that will either provide rehabilitation while incarcerated or try to find the necessary changes that will prevent people from being incarcerated. You're always going to have prisons. You're always going to have convicts. But I think there has to be a way of lessening the number of people being incarcerated. And this is something that all members of society need to get together and take a look at and say, hey, what can we do to stop this massive influx of people going into prison? If you look at the numbers, the statistics, there are more women are going to prison now than ever. And a lot of it's alcohol and drug related. So what does that tell you about drugs? Drugs are just there again. Mm-hmm. They play an important part in people's lives. What's going on with that person? I don't have all the answers and have very few answers, but I think that collectively, when society gets to the point where they can't take any more, then maybe they'll come together as a collective. Whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians come together and sit down at the table and say, hey, this problem affects each and every one of us. And what can we do to resolve this issue? And are we willing to work together until the issue is resolved? Well, hell, by the time the issue is resolved, they'll find out that they have very little differences between them. They'll find out what they should have already known, that their blood is all red. Actually, it's blue until the oxygen hits it and it turns red. That we're all human beings. And in many degrees, we think to a degree alike in a lot of things. I don't think you'll ever see where it'll be the human race and not whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians. There will always, to some degree, be a division. Simply because human nature is very resistant to change. It just is. Change is good. And the thing is, if you stop and think about it, change occurs whether you like it or not. It will occur with you or it will occur without you. If it occurs without you, then you get left behind. At some point in time, you'll look up and say, hey, I'm 20 years behind the times. Because change happens every day. Change does not. There is nothing we can do to stop change. We can either become a part of it, or we can be the ones that stand on the sidelines and watch it happen and do nothing. can discover that, hey, we've become obsolete. Society, humanity is moving on without us.
What changes do you see happening in Muncie in the next 20 years?
The next 20 years? I don't know. You may possibly see a black mayor in the next 20 years. You will probably see a higher classification of I think that the teachers will be better paid in the next 20 years. I'm looking at probably the next 15 years, teachers will be required to be employed year round. They won't have summers off. They'll have vacations like regular people, but they won't have a whole summer off. I think you'll see some massive social changes, and some very, very massive economic changes in the state of Indiana. It'll all come about out of necessity.
For the better, or for the worse?
I think it'll be for the better. But I think things are going to get a lot worse than they already are before this happens. Mm-hmm. But you can only go so far down before you have no choice but to go up. Mm-hmm. And catastrophe or stressful times draw people together. They just do. It's like I very strongly feel that President Bush would lead it. He'll take us right into a war that I don't think is necessary. It is my opinion that no one wins in a war. Everybody's a loser. Wars help the economy, but at what price? What price are you as a nation willing to pay for your economy? Yes, the economy will be booming because you will be mass producing materials and destruction. Yes, you will have more jobs because a lot more people who were employed will be off serving in the war, which opens up jobs here. Now, according to our law, when these people come back home from the war, you may not have your job because their job is guaranteed as long as they're serving their country. So they come back and guess what? You have massive unemployment now again. I think war should be fought on a chessboard. War is nothing but war is a game of chess. It's a list of strategic moves to determine the outcome. Mm-hmm. Now, if you could sit down and play chess instead of fighting a war, whoever won the chess game is the victor.
Yeah, but do you think George Bush would be able to win if all the pieces were equal?
No. And he has to be very careful about going to war because he may find himself out there by himself and be greatly outnumbered by the rest of the nations in the world. Mm-hmm. See, the United States wants to play Big Brother, but I think there are some situations where we need to keep our nose out of their business. We truly do. First of all, we are not big enough or massive enough to police the entire continent or the entire world. We can't do that. We just can't. That's why we have to have allies. If you look, probably the one country the United States fears the most is China. Because the only way that the United States could not ever beat China in a conventional war. We simply don't have the manpower.
Even if they gave them all sharpened sticks, they didn't win.
The Chinese could lose 500 million people and still have twice as many people as we do. As a country, they could lose half their population and still be larger than us. India, that's another country, massive population. So, although according to Scripture, in the final days, China will be our ally. Mm-hmm. Makes you stop wondering sometimes.
What's going to happen? Yeah. Or how it's all going to come together.
And I guess the scary thing is, regardless of what we think, what is going to happen is going to happen. Just about everything that's happening today it's already been prophesied. Mm-hmm. If you believe in biblical prophecy, if biblical prophecy is, if you believe in biblical prophecy, then there's absolutely nothing you can do to prevent it. You have to weather the storm. Weather the storm by your faith. Mm-hmm. I have nothing to shake that faith, knowing that as long as you remain faithful, you will prevail on top. But you will suffer. my pastor said, he said, there will come a time that because of your faith you'll be persecuted. I said, you see that now? You see a lot of it in the Middle East, you know.
Do you see that in your life?
I don't know, because I don't know. I do believe that we are living in the last days, according to the Bible. You know, but I also know that time measured with human time and God's time are two different times. 1,000 years is but a twinkle in God's eye.